All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up, make sure you guys follow along if for some reason I'm talking about, it sounds like I'm talking about a page or something. Let me know and I can, sometimes I have to work my way back and I forget that I'm ahead of you guys. So tonight we're going to talk really quick about so the RCIC core GPT and project workflow is what we're going to talk about tonight. I know a couple of people I know on one-on-ones. I'm going to try to take this one slow tonight, so it's like a one-on-one where I can give you guys a lot of good information. So keep in mind, I'm going to talk through this. I'm going to show you guys the GPT, and then I'm going to show you guys. You want to keep in mind that what I'm going to be talking about to build is all going to be done in projects, and we started talking about that last week. So the idea is that RCIC is not a bunch of random GPTs; it's an operating system. And so when you guys look at it, I got 12 different projects and you guys will set up links for 12 projects. There's the reason for that initially. It looks like it might be redundant or it might be or it might be, a little bit of time consuming. Most of the time you're going to spend is probably your first 30 days of actually doing a lot more. The time boxes are 15, 20, 30 minutes to do different things while you're building it and training it. So getting back to you are actually building it. It's a pretty cool, pretty system. So we're not going to, every learning every button. So it's really understanding, guys, the workflow. Hey, Fred, I'll try to slow roll it. There's a couple people are coming in right now. So it's basically the workflow. So it works better when your projects are set up in the right order because real estate decisions compound. So bad buy box equals bad markets, bad market context equals bad comps equal bad offers. So and keep in mind, you guys can do it. I'm going to show you. I'll talk about two different ways. I'm going to show you what I recommend, and it isn't set in stone. If you like it a different way, then it's fine. That's up to you. There's two different ways you can do it. You can actually start in do one buy box, and then do a project that has all your deal analysis tools in the chats under that buy box. But I think it honestly is a lot better if you have the different the projects that and we sort of talked about that last week. So by the end of the night, you should know which the core GPT is, how to use modes, where to input your buy box, and why the project order manages. So real quick, first, I'm going to jump over here out of projects, and I'm going to go to the GPTs, and I'm going to pull up RCIC core, and then I'll come back to projects after core. So this is RCIC core. If you guys have, once you have it, I know Reginald, I need to get it to you. We'll work on that, getting that. So you guys want to think about these are build my distressed deal playbook is a little bit, it's more of a fast track. We're going to focus tonight on pretty much set up or update my buy box. But change RCIC mode, when you click on this one, it'll actually bring up the modes. And if you guys go there, you want to go switch to learning mode. Keep in mind, anytime you're in modes, you want to the command is always switch to what mode do you want. And then when you are done, you go return to default. Those are the two commands you need. We're not really going to go much in that, but I encourage everybody in core just to go ahead and hit this on your own and kind of go through it. Use learning mode. Or learning mode will answer any questions. It'll help you build your business. It'll help you everything. Strategy, asset classes. It'll teach you. You can ask for the basic version, then you can ask for a really advanced version if you really want to learn. I mean, it really is in depth, guys. But tonight we're going to talk about setup or update my buy box. So when you obviously go into buy box here, and we use it universally just to make sure that everybody has the same, even if somebody's a lender or somebody may not have in the traditional outside of RCIC, they may not call it a buy box. I'm using it just so we have kind of the same terminology across the group. So every lead filter before each. So your buy box is with the gate between your intelligence, qualification, outreach, offer, contract, close, and review. So what happens is you guys will set up your buy box. You guys see this copy and paste. So remember, this is your copy. So you guys want to look at this box card, right? And what I would do is, here, this one's pretty much blank now. Neil, you asked me last week, and I'll reiterate against. I know I answered it last week, but You guys, if you guys are doing something that's not here in asset type or strategy, don't worry about it. You can actually just, take it out. No problem whatsoever. Just delete it, put in what you want, make changes. You're not going to screw it up because this will still stay here. But like I said, what I want to do is I want to copy the buy box. And you guys see down here is a structured example, right? So it's pretty much like filled in, just kind of give you, ABC home buyers, Denver Metro, what cities, what counties you like, what zip codes you primarily like. And then you get in your asset type, your primary strategy, the price range. What are you looking for? 100,000 to 450 is what it says here. What is the price range? What's the lowest amount? Keep in mind, sometimes the lowest amount may be what you can what lenders are doing. A lot of lenders don't like to do under $50,000, things like that. So, what kind of price range are you looking at on the low end? What's the maximum? Your equity and discount, requirement. You want 25% equity, or you want a clear wholesale spread. Your condition tolerance, what kind of condition? Medium to heavy. Your preferred distress signals, you like probates, tax delinquency, vacancy, absentee owners, foreclosures. And then what your capital position are. Hard mark.
Lord, why do you do this to me? Why do you do this?
Yeah. So you got all these things. You got disqualifiers. You also got exit requirements. So this is yours. So you get down here in the risk flags. The time box is going to recommend 10 to 15 minutes. You might be able to do. You can refine it after reviewing your first 20 to 30 leads. Expect to go in and refine it. But what you guys want to do is just copy and paste what I said. Now you've got the structure ahead of you. Now fill this out your way. Put your name in there, what markets you like. So you kind of just fill this in. Just take your time because I like to use a mouse, but you can use if you're good on that. I'm not. So you guys can go in and just fill this out. Do it slowly. Be careful not to hit the send prompt or hit enter. So just go line by line. I know it takes a few more minutes to do that, and you basically just want to fill this whole thing out, right? And you get it all down, your disqualifiers. You don't like flood zones. You don't want any foundation issues, things like that. This is where the accuracy. And you guys, once the leads start generating, you guys are going to see this thing's going to be pretty incredible. Now, before you press send prompt or enter, copy and paste what you just typed there. Now we're going to go back to projects, right? So you guys want to set up the project. And what I was going to say is I'm going to go ahead and here, and you guys will see I got my buy box. You guys want to have that's your first project you really want to have for your deal flow. Then you just go paste that in there, right? And then you press send there. That's going to copy that. You guys see what says chats under it? That's where you guys will start putting the NEDs, the notice of election demands, and nods, notice of default, the different documents that have those that have, like we showed last week, that have the deals on it, the deal information. It could be one where you're putting it in a net. It could be a whole list of NEDs. It could be what I'm going to show you later. Their reports, those reports that I get. I just got another one on Wednesday. I'm actually getting those 7 days a week now. I'm getting 15 of them, not 10 of them anymore. So you guys can get the same thing. And I'm working tomorrow. I'll have a prompt for that, and I'll give an example. You guys can enter that, and you can start generating reports where the system start. I'm going to show you what one of those looks like in a minute. So you guys go to your buy box and you enter your buy box. So now I'm actually going to get out of this real quick. I'm going to go to the project that we were setting up tonight, back to the beginner. So I'm going to come down and hit this again. So we get into, guys, this is the, what you want to do is we're teaching, the buy box is first, obviously, guys. Why this matters. So buy box, this comes first. I was going to say, without a buy box, every property looks possible, which is how people waste time and buy problems. The buy box is going to answer what asset type, what price range, what locations, what condition level, what the return you're looking for, what are the exit strategies you like, what financing constraints. Your buy box is your filter. No filter, no discipline. So you guys see all these deal machine prop stream and all that. They're out there filters. This filters much more accurately. It's how you take 33 foreclosure filings, like maybe in 1 week, that are filed in one county, and how you get that down to 3 or 4 or 5 that actually you could actually do. It's in your wheelhouse. So that's how you define that. The next project, and remember, so you guys are in projects, so just use new project and it doesn't, you know, and I'm going to try to figure out if you can actually rearrange these. But if you can't, no big deal. As long as you still got them somewhere, if you can, you know, just kind of get to know where they are. I'll research that tomorrow as well and get back to you on how a process if there's a way to rearrange these so they're in order, just to make it easier while you're training your system. So your markets, and we talked about market guides, and everybody needs a market guide. You know, I can send you over one of the ones we have, and you can ask it, just ask anything here at it, and ask it to generate one. So you could be looking for a market guide in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll just, you know, take the one from Cuyahoga County, Ohio, and ask it to duplicate it, but put Nashville and put the counties and the zip code you like, and ask it to duplicate it. It's good to go. So your next one's going to be a market. So you're going to have a market. You're going to have a project for markets, right? And I've got my markets. It says my markets. You can call it markets or my markets. You guys can see over here. I got buy box, my skip tracing. It's a little out of order from what I'm giving you guys. You know, I got market reality assessment, ARV, rehab scope of work. I'm going to show you guys a couple other ones. As long as you know, if you got them in there, and I know there's some that are kind of in between there. As long as you got these, you're going to be good. If you have them in order, it'll be even better. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. This is just what I'm trying to show you guys so you guys can start processing. Eventually, after about 30 to 45 days, what we call predictive intelligence, you're going to be able to work most 90% of all your deals from the prompt bar. Keep in mind, like I say, every session, I have developer mode, which is why I have the orange outline. You guys don't have that. Otherwise, everything else works the same for me. So markets, after they define what they want, they need to know where to actually exist. So the market work, it's going to be, what does the strategy make sense? What are prices, rents, days on market, inventory, and buyer behavior aligned? Which zip codes or neighborhoods? So if you like, you know, you like Casper, Wyoming, and Sheridan, Wyoming, and Laramie and Cheyenne, that eastern side of Wyoming, maybe throw in a couple in Nebraska, on the western part of Nebraska, you're going to put in those markets. It's not going to look, it's going to send you a pretty good, get you a pretty good access to what's going on in those markets and get you literally, like I get reports. There were one report last week was published at 8:14 in the morning on Thursday morning. Literally, I could get it by 8:15, 16, 17, somewhere by 8:30, I could have it. Keep in mind, like PropStream and all these companies buy from aggregators. They're not actually there usually buying, getting this stuff that morning. There's aggregators that go and get the entire country, and then they sell to those guys, and they sell to real estate investors or to list sellers. So you're able to go and actually get this like 8:16, 8:17 after, you know, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes after it's released. That generally gives you 100, somewhere between 90 and usually 110, maybe even as long as 120 days to work the deal. And so that's just a great way to do it. So your next one's going to be your deal analysis for pulling comps. So again, you're going to want to have it in your projects to have another project for deal analysis comps. You can call it any way you want that makes you remember. You can just put comps, you can put deal analysis, you can do however you want to, just so you can remember it your way. You don't have to make it my way because I'm not going to ever see yours. So make it, you know, make all these, name them in a familiar, so to have some familiarity. So now they can analyze a specific property. This is where it's going to pull comparable sales, active listings, pending listings, comps, property level content. Comps are not just numbers, it's the market telling you what buyers and sellers are actually doing. So that next one's going to pull comps. When you guys set agents in, have an agent go and find that distressed property, foreclosures or whatever in that county. Use a second agent in that county to go pull comps. So immediately you could have it go and pull the comps in that county. You got 5 counties, you're using 10 agents out of your 40. That's a pretty good way to do it. If you got more counties, and if you got a lot of counties and they're next to each other, you can have it go and search 10 counties or 12 counties. What I don't recommend doing, and somebody didn't find out kind of hard way, like we have somebody looks at Florida and Texas. Don't put in two, make sure of those 2 states, because those 2 states, there's a lot of times you might have 2 or 3 states you like. Every state's different. So there's different laws and stuff. Just kind of, you want a fluid approach. You want to be fluid. So you want to have Florida under one search and Texas under another, if that's the situation. The market guides are going to tell you guys, they're pretty thorough. They're very thorough because I make sure that when I design the market guide, it was designed to teach you how that state or how that county works. because a county could be different from the next county over and 3 counties away. You know, in Colorado, Denver County obviously being the capital city, and it's different dealing with Denver than it is with Lakewood right next to it, or Aurora right next to it, or any of the counties around it. So you guys keep in mind those market guides that help you guys set all this up. I encourage you when you first start in the markets to go and visit those markets you like, and go to those links that you're going to see. Those off ramps are going to pop up. I'll show you those later when they come up, when I go and search that report. So your next is going to be your market reality assessment. So that's your sanity check. So a deal can look good on a spreadsheet and still be a bad deal in the real world. And also, just real quick, I'm going to throw out, I did actually copy and paste this entire presentation, and I put it in both Facebook groups. So you can go back to it, and you can sit there if you have 2 devices, maybe your phone and maybe your laptop, pull up on your phone or something, pull up the this whole list, and just follow it while you're building this out. I made that so everybody could kind of build it out this way. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with doing it your way. I encourage people to save things their way, but I really just do recommend having some consistency. And tonight we're going to talk about some other projects going all the way through the closing table. So your market reality assessment is going to look at the area. Are there buyers that are active in that area? Are there renovated properties that are actually selling? Are investors exiting successfully? Is there enough margin? So this is where we stop fantasy math from sneaking into the deal. And you can start at the street level. You can go to the neighborhood. Then you can go to the larger area around the neighborhood, or you can go to the zip code. So like with my grandparents' house, I did the street. I did the next streets over, the major streets, and then I did the larger streets. And anybody that knows Denver, and probably it around. They used to live around DU, University of Denver. So I went out. I built a market reality assessment to kind of look at 5 different levels of geography around the property. So you keep going out, expanding. Eventually, you get out to the entire zip code, and it's looking at everything, and it's giving you a market. You're able to and you're pumping this as you guys save this. Then you just kind of pass the property down through the system, all the leads you have, and they're going to start market. Is this going to work? It's going to give you a range. Are these ARVs solid? Because before you get ARV, you're going to want to know all the comps, rehab and scope of work, and all that. It's pretty cool that way. The next one, like I said, is rehab and scope of work. So once the market and comps are grounded, then they scope the rehab. Scope of work should be tied to the exit, not to ego. A rental grade rehab is different than a retail flip rehab. So you don't need to renovate to impress yourself. Renovate to match the buyer, renter, lender, and exit. Look at what is going on in that through market reality assessment and comps of what is going on. Look at see if you can see some of the pictures of stuff. Maybe in some cases, go up just one little, small step. So maybe they're looking at, something like, I don't know, just different. You go to Home Depot and Lowe's, and you can kind of ask their pros, those departments, what a lot of people are doing in that area. Don't go to your Home Depot. Go to the Home Depot where you're putting this house in, because you can talk to them and ask them what they're seeing, because those people see a ton of stuff. And you can go to the pro desk, but you can also go to the specialty departments, the flooring. Actually, if you guys want to really get some good insight, go to the people that wear the orange. Ask for the Met people, MET, merchandising execution team. Go ask them, because those guys work for the company, and they pretty much are operating in every aisle of the store. So they see a lot of stuff too. But ask some of the specialists, the flooring people, the cabinets people, the appliance people, the pro desk. Ask them what they're seeing, and kind of get an idea in that market. Always kind of maybe just going up one little step. If you're going to make $100,000, maybe making $97,000, that $3,000 could be a huge difference. It can help you sell faster, and that's a good situation. ARV evaluation. ARV comes after comps and rehab planning. They need to know what the property can realistically be worth after the correct improvements. ARV is not what you hope it sells for. ARV is what the market can defend. Then you guys get into skip tracing. Obviously, you guys saw today. I posted the skip tracing tool that I'm creating. That'll be a standalone. There is skip tracing, obviously, in RCIC Systems in the flow, in the deal flow that I'll show you. We'll actually go visit it before the end of the session tonight. And then we do also, you guys can do all skip tracing in here. Use the skip tracing more in prompt. You get the best of, you get 3 different ways you can skip trace, and you can work them all together. It's kind of cool that way. So now you can find the owners. Skip tracing too early creates noise. So wait till you get down to that 5 to 10 properties. Don't go skip. You see all these people in these groups like, hey, we'll skip trace 10,000 records a month. It's like, what's the point of that? Unless you're just doing bulk calls all day long and you're selling lists and building lists and things like that. Skip tracing before strategy is just buying a phone book with extra steps. I like how sometimes it has its own sayings. Exit strategies. Every deal needs more than one way out. Wholesale, flip, burr, rental, seller finance, novation, hotel. One exit is a hope. Multiple exits is risk management. Always have a plan B and a plan C. If you're going to flip something, what happens in the market? Can you rent it? Can you short-term rental? Short-term rental may be a way you can keep it staged and you get some income in it while it's on the market. You don't have to rent it long-term where you're probably stuck for 6 months or a year, most likely a year. Think about it as a short-term rental. You just did a flip. You need to stage it. Well, what now if you have short-term rentals? For a couple, a month or 2 months or 3 months, if it's in an area like that. So think about that as a possibility of where you can get some income off of it, pay some of the stuff on it. And that's a good situation. Always have plan B and plan C. What I'm teaching you guys here tonight is not how to actually do a lot of this stuff. You'll actually learn that through learning stuff through the learning mode. But this is setting you up as like your business in a box. So now we're going to talk about some projects, and it's part of the workflow, the deal flow. We haven't really talked about a lot. Offer generation. So after you guys get all your ARV, you've skip traced, now you got to make an offer. So only after the analysis is done should you generate offers. It should reflect ARV, and keep in mind you have your version, and then you have what you send to your potential sellers. ARV repairs. What are the holding costs? What are the closing costs? What's your profit target? Your risks? What's the seller motivation? Exit strategy. The offer is not a guess; it's a conclusion of the workflow. So that's what you guys want to factor in there. Make your overall assessment, and then basically come up with your offer and have a plan A and plan B. We do have some offer things there. I've also got a 3-tier offer, a 3-option offer. It's pretty cool. Anybody wants to check it out, I'll send it over to you. If you want to do a one-on-one with it because you like it, let me know. Not everybody wants to do it, but it's pretty cool. I learned it well. Ginger, you probably remember that from Kobo. That's who taught me that. Was Gary. The capital passport. This is where they become capital ready. They need to organize credibility, experience, deal criteria, funding needs, proof of funds, lender expectations, investor-facing materials. Money moves faster when the borrower looks organized. So you guys get the capital passport. Keep in mind, all these are also modes in the modes. When we talked about RCIC Core, all these are modes. So you can go there and you can actually work in those modes to teach you how to. That's going to help you walk through that. So you don't have to go to just learning mode. You can go to rehab mode. You go to capital passport mode. You can lender mode. You can go to transaction coordination mode, TC mode. You can go to wholesaling mode. So that it'll help you set up all those operations, and then you can feed that into your different projects for these areas. Then you're going to get transaction coordination. Once the deal is under contract, chaos begins unless there is a process. So it keeps timelines, documents, inspections, escrow, title, lender steps, communication. We also have a TC in the flow in RCIC Systems. So it's good. So you got a lot of it. And actually, if you guys see people out there asking about how can I get trained as a TC, they got 2 different ways they can go with this. And not only will the TC will help teach them how to be a TC and help them start their business, it'll provide everything to support their business and continuing education. And most of you, a lot of the people in the group could be potential clients. Not saying because not everybody uses a TC, but we do have some people in the groups that do use a TC. A lot of them are busier. They're doing a lot more deals. Then we get to the closing table, the final decision and documentation point. So they're going to confirm the numbers, parties, documents, funding, title, insurance. When we talk about this, guys, you talk about this process: buy box, markets, deal analysis, market reality, rehab scope of work, ARV, skip tracing, exit strategy, offer, capital passport, TC closing table. When you got all that set up, I mean, over here, you're able to just flow right through it. You're able to start, you get the like a shot. Let me just show you right now. Get over here and see if I got this one set up right. It should have just come in today. If not, there's one in there I can show you guys. Yeah, this is another one, but I'll show you guys anyway. Give me a second while it sets up. Yeah, it's gonna take a second to do this, but so there's a cool. Well, there's a lot of stuff in there what we've done. Let me try to see if I can get a better one. So this is talking about, of course, my hometown. So we're in Jefferson County, right? It's really kind of giving you guys a report. What happens when you guys get these reports? You guys can generate these. And I posted them, ones I got earlier. I posted the one I got today as well. But you guys see in here, you can get these as a heat map. So in my heat map, it shows me what's going on at 80916, 80013, 80239, 80219, 80015. It's telling me what's going on there. It's that good. It'll actually kind of look at what's going on there and what you're monitoring, and it'll tell you. So you can focus on where you want to focus in. Do you like El Paso County, which is Colorado Springs, more than Denver? El Paso County is very friendly and easy to deal with. So is Arapahoe, so is Jefferson. Denver is Denver. It's a bureaucracy, major city, capital city. But this will actually give you guys all the signals. It tells you how many new probate court cases have been filed. It'll show you how many foreclosures have been filed. Remember, these are the off ramps. Sometimes you might have the off ramps that are specific deal. So what I want to do is let's go to Arapahoe County. Let's see if I can bring up Arapahoe County. Let me stop sharing. I'll return to. Let me come back. I have to do that just to help you guys. Make sure you guys, if I ever do that and you don't see the page right away and I'm talking, let me know, remind me, and I can go and fix this. So some of the things you guys still have to do is the human stuff. You still have to go and accept terms, hit a CAPTCHA. Not a big deal, a couple seconds, right? We saw this with Jefferson County. We saw this with El Paso County. Keep in mind, in a lot of states, you're going to see the same vendors. Sometimes you'll see different vendors. Boulder County, Colorado has this same vendor. Broomfield County right next to it. If you guys see on the map, Broomfield counties were superior, they have a different vendor. Theirs is a little bit more archaic. It's one of those I call a Mayberry County, even though Broomfield's actually pretty sophisticated. They were a new county. Their last county was before COVID. They became a county and a city. They used to be just a city. So they became their own city and county. The only one in Colorado is city and county of Denver. Like I said, when you guys are first doing your markets, study your things. Now, if you have a foreclosure number, so if we get that list, right, and they give you some case numbers and they give you names and numbers, which it does all the time, that is one way to set it up, because you can ask it, you can deploy agents to go out there and through those zip codes and bring you those filings. But if you don't have it, here's an easy way to do it. I can just go in and I can ask which, are there NEDs, are there new foreclosures, are there NEDs recorded? I can go ask multiple different ways of what I'm looking for. This is the status. I could ask if you like areas, if you like specific areas or zip codes, just put in there and ask it, what subdivision, what zip code you like that's there. But if not, you guys can go and, like I said, I'm going to go ahead, like I showed you guys the month of April. Now I'm just going to go and show you just in Arapahoe County, Colorado. What is just in May so far? Not a whole lot, because we're only about, actually 31 records. That's actually pretty good. Anybody that doesn't know, Denver area, Arapahoe County is just to the south and east. There's Douglas County and Arapahoe County, and Arapahoe County kind of goes east as well. Aurora, Colorado splits Arapahoe and Adams County. So you guys, it's kind of it's a lot of influency. The Broncos training facility, not the stadiums in Arapahoe County, very high end of affluent stuff like that. You guys can see just from some of these properties. Here's a $2 million property. This might be a Preserve Parkway. This could be, this is the Preserve at Granite Village. It's pretty nice. Heather Gardens is in Aurora. Heather Gardens is more known for seniors, a lot more seniors, stuff like that. Here's the NED recorded. You guys can actually just go copy and paste this whole thing in and ask it to go through and search and put that in your buy box, or even create another project for that, like a general search before buy box, copy and paste all 31 in there and have it go through and evaluate all these compared to your buy box. And it can go through and you can ask it to give you the top 5. That's how you do these in bulk and all that. But let's just go. I'm going to go try to find one to pull because it's just easier this way. Aurora Islands. Let's see. Just see what's a good one to do. Let's just pull up this one, 033. It's 0313 2026. So guys, let me go back and make sure. Like I said, if I ever do start talking about something, you guys know, then just remind me. So this is your foreclosure details on this property, 3664 South Danube Circle, Aurora. It's going to give you the legal description and the current homeowners, the Adams. And then it's got the address again. So you guys keep in mind, you can go either way, up or down. Start at addresses, start at view documents. I like viewing documents. So what you're really going to be concerned with is 2 documents, really. One document, here's mailing, but you're going to want to look at the NED. And so we can pull that up. We'll get that in a minute. These are the documents you want. CDOT, Colorado Department of Transportation. Kind of, first of all, you can I would just copy and paste, and you can ask RCIC to tell you what these all mean. So you don't have to go there and look at them individually if you don't want to. Here's the withdrawal. There's nothing here yet because it hasn't been withdrawn, obviously. Here's the sales information. Carrington Mortgage Services. The sale is September 2nd. Look how much time you got to work on this. And if you get this at, this is relatively fresh. If you get this 8:15 in the morning and it's just been released, that's how much time you got to work on this. That's a pretty good substantial. Keep in mind, the aggregators got to process it and get it out to the people that sell it to the prop techs, the list sellers. Lienors, here's your lien, second and third lien. So far, there's none. Nobody's filed yet, or they may not. Here's your publications. They're going to advertise in the Sentinel. In Colorado, they basically have to publish twice. They have a first publication, a last publication. They use a lot of the news, even in your area. Look where they publish. They're going to use a Sentinel because it's probably $8 to $10. Most, they're going to be cheap a little bit. They're not going to put in the Denver Post. So that's pretty good. So you kind of want to look at that. Here's your mailing. So they just initial notice was mailed on 5/5/26. Guess what? You can actually go into that same county and get the information on the mailing. And there's some part of your skip tracing it'll be available. Like I said, we consider this to be an AHJ, authority having jurisdiction. They're going to have a lot of the information that the prop techs and list sellers don't. They want to sell you another subscription, or they want to charge you more for skip tracing. Here's the law firm, another part of your skip tracing, guys. File number. Here's the law firm, Janeway Law Firm. Here's the attorney. Here's their address. Here's her email, phone number, and fax. A lot of them still use fax, even it's probably e-fax. There, right there, you can do that. You can go to the mortgage company, the lender, or you can go to their lawyer. If you like the deal and you want to, do you need to skip trace your fully now? Because you could go there and make a good offer, run it through and offer them. It's going to show you what the lender is bidding. The lender is bidding $101,000, bid 105 or something. Maybe go a little high and see if they'll accept an offer. If it's worth, what it is after ARV and all that stuff. If it's a good deal, you're going to have, because you have that information, guys. Here's your deed, and there's nothing filed yet there. The cure, obviously, they have to notice file a notice of intent by the 18th of August, and the cure by the 1st of September. Now here's where you guys go. Here's your NED is recorded. There's the reception number, the scheduled date, and then here's the date file received and the date file created. So this is 2 weeks old, and it's still really fresh. I would say probably PropStream and those companies are now getting these, and they're probably going to start disseminating it. If you got this when it first came out on the let's say on the morning, when the file was created, when it was released, you've already been working on it for probably 2 weeks if you haven't already got under contract. Loan information, it's FHA. The original balance is 397. They owe 385. The outstanding principal, balance date. Here's an interest rate. It's fixed. Here's the holder. All that information. So, you can go look at what the ARV is on this, and once you determine the ARV, and then go make an offer to you can do it to the Johnsons or the Adams, to Manny Adams or Delisha Johnson, or you can go to Carrington Mortgage Services, or you can go to their lawyer, make an offer. It's a lot. You don't have to do much skip tracing to do that. Bankruptcy, there's no bankruptcies, no temporary restraining orders. So now I'm going to go back to pull the NED, and there I got it. And I'm going to on-ramp back to RCIC, right? So let me go back and make sure I'm there one more time. And I've got that NED right. You guys would go and hit it in your, you guys will go ahead and put it in your buy box, right? Because you'll start processing it. I haven't set my buy box up like your guys because I don't want to, because I got to, manage everything for everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it into the flow, the normal of the agenda. Okay, we visited Arapahoe County. I am inputting a NED. Can we start analyzing loan comps? Now, keep in mind, you guys are going to do these in multiple steps, but eventually you're going to be able to do it because I can do it like this because of so much training. I've got 1,500 hours in this. Once you guys have done a whole lot of stuff, you guys can actually really simplify the process. It's going to take 30 to 45 days of you building out these projects, putting deals in. You guys even want to just go out and just get in these markets, like go to Arapahoe County and get, copy and paste the entire NED list and go in there and put as many in there to train it. If you want, you can do that, or you can go look for specifics. It's just however you want to do it, you can do it. It's just got to put some in there so you start training it on what you like, and it learns more from those. And MRA, and then I'm going to go ahead and enter that NED, and I'm going to go back to my NED. There we go, and I'm going to push send prompt, and I should be able to send it. And let's see if there's sometimes it's because I'm in a different mode. So sometimes let me see on that. Post on the canvas. And then I'm going to go ahead and I've got that. So let's see if I can. Yeah, it's a little bit. Sometimes on mine, it's because mine's thinking a little bit. So, go try one more way to do it. Yeah, sometimes you get a little bit of a pushback. If you get a pushback, just play with it for a second, kind of massage it. And if not, I'll go ahead and I'll just go ahead and put it in my different one. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just do it real quick in another one. So that's what you just, I'll pull up my DIU, Stress Intelligence. Give me 1 second. There's always a solution for everything. So sometimes it's just, so distress intelligence. And can you review this, Ned? Can you review this NED and post analysis on the canvas. And then I'll just go ahead and enter that NED again. There you go. So it's going to take a second for it to read it. You guys are going to see it's reading it. There you guys, it starts pulling it up. So we just pulled up this deal, right? So notice election demand for sale by public trustee, Arapahoe County, Colorado, under Rule 120. When you guys start getting your market guides, it will tell you what applicable laws that your state might have, or even your county. So that's something you want to learn, and you can use it. You can train it so it recognizes those. It'll be in the market guides, or you can ask for when you're first getting going. So keep in mind, it's got a lot of information. It takes a minute or two to. It's gonna give you a lot of information. So it's gonna have a lot more than what I just. Grantors, the beneficiary, the current holder of debt, the deed of trust. It's going to have the debt figures. Give me 1 second. This is why sometimes it's like internet. So you got the debt figures. 397. Their outstanding is 385. So 11,989 reduction in principal before default escalation. This suggests the loan was relatively new when the defaults occurred. You guys are getting all this intelligence, a lot of information that can help you. So it tells you what the NED is, and you guys already know it's foreclosure. So you can read this, or you can, you already know what foreclosure is. Here's your legal description. So you guys want to go look at the property even more, you can just copy and paste this into Citus. You can ask, it's for Citus, and you can go and copy and paste and study that. You can connect an apps over here on the left to Google Earth. You can actually pull up maps, so you could go down and even look at, all the different angles that Google Earth has. It's pretty cool that way. Here's your strategic observations. It's when it originated. It's going to give you the whole everything, potential, what's going on, because it's fairly early. It's a fairly early default in the process. It's only a couple of years that they've had it. Here's your equity position analysis. The unpaid principal balance is approximately 385. So obviously you need to do ARV and all that. And I'll tell you what the market's going on in Aurora in that market. And so it's going to talk to you about that. Your investor, here's your pre-foreclosure resolution. So you got a couple different strategies here. You could do a pre-foreclosure resolution subject to seller finance, short sale negotiation with the mortgage company or their attorney. You could do a cash for key settlement, loan reinstatement assistance. There are people that do that and actually make good money on. I don't know enough about that to actually advise you guys. It's something you can look into if you want to do that as a strategy, because you're going to run into sometimes the deals that are thin. But what if you could help somebody? And you can make a few grand or $5,000 or whatever just for your time. Maybe, who knows? It just depends on what your own personal feelings are. Here's your action strategy. It'll always have that. Potential issues. It's going to give you everything you need to do to require verification. Your assignment chain. It's going to give you everything. Your recommended due diligence checklist. Pull your title report. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to check all the title at Arapahoe County. You can return to Arapahoe County, look at the building department that issues permits, look at the tax assessor, and look at, minutes after pulling this report, you could go back here and say, hey, can you connect, to the tax, to where the titles are, to do a title search in Arapahoe County. You go to the financials, the legal. Here's your overall assessment of all the situations. You guys get into that, and then post it to the canvas. Real quick, let me try to see what's going on. Can you run comps? and a market reality assessment on the zip code. And so then you want to go and you guys are doing any projects, so keep in mind that you guys are going to get this information, either copy and paste while you're training it, and then you basically just go to your next project down. You got a buy box, make sure it's in your markets. You have your markets. Go to your deal analysis, start pulling your comps, start pulling your market reality assessment. So here you guys go. Here's your market reality assessment, and it's going to give you. You gotta have a lot of. It's going to take a second to do it because it's going to give you a lot of comps. So keep in mind when it does that, it's going to not let you do anything for a minute or two while it's loading up the screen. It's kind of like buffering. Don't think of it as bad because it's slow. Think about it. It's giving you a lot of good information. So here you guys go. Here's your assessment. And I'm going to put this in a PDF so you guys can go read this on your own time and kind of learn that. But here's a zip code market snapshot. What Redfin's saying, what Zillow's saying, what Realtor.com's saying, what's going on Aurora, what's going on at 80013. And it's soft with Redfin reporting a median sale price of around 460, down at 3.2% year over year. Zillow reporting Aurora average value around 464. So you go back to what this thing is, what they owe, and what what they owe, and what they making your offer. Obviously, you want to look at the house, rehab and scope of work, get some pictures. You can just go put the address in and ask it to pull up all the, you might you might off ramp to Google or something and pull up a Zillow Rift and get all the pictures that are out there. If you don't have them if you're doing this way, if you don't have them, you want to do that. If you guys are dealing with wholesalers and people like that, then get the pictures. You need the interior and exterior pictures. But generally, you can enter pictures usually about 6 to 8 at a time. And you want to kind of tell it in that report, hey, here's 6 pictures. These are the exterior. Here's another 6 pictures. These are this. Here's another 6 pictures. Do it in the groups of 6, that kind of relate. You got exterior front, you got the exterior rear. Here's the kitchen. Here's, you want to kind of break it up a little bit. It's going to be better at that for rehab and scope of work. Again, learning mode will teach you how to do that. Immediate comp set from publicly visible similar inventory. Here you guys go. Danube Circle, same area. Genoa Street, number 8. This looks to be in Hampton Hills. This looks to be probably a townhome. It could be Ensenada, Ceylon. Where this is, if you guys ever look on the map of Denver, look at Hamden, because Hamden actually becomes 285, and you can go with it. You can go with it in New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, Four Corners on 285. But it's called Hamden. You guys can look at it. Hamden, right before it turns and becomes Havana, which corners off, it basically makes a big turn and goes, then that goes north to south. So this is kind of around Hamden and Quebec kind of area. If you guys look at the map of Denver, here's your mid-market functional band. These are the 445, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1,700 square feet kind of area. 459, 465, 445. Then you guys get in your upper and your updated larger band. And you get in the 508, 550, 550. So you're looking at as is. The as is with that ARV is 350 to 385. You get retail clean resale range 395 to 430. And if you guys want to be optimistic, 435 to 455. Above average renovation, strong presentation. So guys, it's going to give you like 4 or 5 different recommendations, and it's going to kind of give you the ranges. And as you guys put more information into it, it's going to become very accurate. You guys are going to start realizing real quick that this thing is, I'm going to say probably 95 to 90, right around that percentage of accuracy. There's always going to be a little bit off, but people are off when they do manual underwriting. So you got the local, likely total payoff after foreclosure expenses, arrears, default interest, attorney fees, public trustee costs, HOA, probably above 400,000. So if as is 350 to 385, properties underwater. If Cleanerville is 395 to 430, it's thin equity. If it's 435 to 455, there may be limited investor spread, but it gives you that ideal. This is not a fat margin foreclosure acquisition based on available public data. It's a workout negotiation file, not an actual one. Obviously, I'm just pulling these out of, when you guys do these, you guys can actually just put that whole NED list. You can copy and paste it and put it in your buy box and have it triage and pull out 5 to 10 that do meet your exact buy box. So if you're looking for $50,000 or more, or what your spread is, what your profit is, it's not going to pull this property out. This property, you won't even see it. And that's a good thing. So, like I said, I just pulled this kind of out of thin air on that list. So it's going to talk to you. It's going to give you all the practical next steps. It's going to give you the bottom line, and it's pretty cool. I'm going to ask it to save this as a PDF. And it's going to save that. So, okay, like I said, I showed you guys with the report. You guys, I'm going to give you guys a PDF. I'm going to put that in the Facebook groups tomorrow, and I'll send it because there's only a couple of you on tonight. Where you guys, and I'll have a prompt. I got to create the prompt in the morning for you guys to actually be able to go in and prompt to generate these lists that I showed you, because that is a good way to train, and and set your buy box up. You guys want to spend some time on your buy box. It says 15 minutes. I would spend 30 minutes. Be detailed. What exactly are you looking for? What you don't want, and put in the ranges. Are you looking to make 50 grand or 100 grand a deal? Are you looking to rent proper? What are you looking for? Teach it, train it. That's what this is doing. So that's going to save it. I'll send that to you guys afterwards. So let me go back real quick to RCIC Core, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple of cool things, and I'll show you RCIC Systems, and then we'll try to get out of here a little bit early tonight. And then Ginger, I can do your one-on-one. I'll shut off this, and then I'll send you a link for that if you still want to do it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So you guys go to RCIC mode, right? Now you're in modes. So you guys go in, it's going to tell you what the modes are. Default, strategy, systems, decision frameworks, resident mode, distress intelligence, AHJs, probate foreclosure, vacancy, code delinquency. You're going to want to spend a lot of time in resident, because that's what we're just doing. This is going to help you walk through and help you get all that set up. Operator mode, if you want to write SOPs, KPIs, team structure, scaling systems, you're looking to get big, we can do that with operator mode. There's also an operator GPT. I'll go through next week on the GPTs, because we do have 6 other ones. I want to make sure everybody's really comfortable with this one before you guys start going into those other ones. Lender, conceptual underwriting, DSCR, and leverage capital stack. You guys go to lender and you can learn. It'll teach you everything. You'll be, even just if you're just doing flips or something, you're going to learn a lot more about how to set your presentations up and how to settle your, make lenders happy. Wholesaling mode, acquisition, MAO, maximum level offer, seller buyer workflow. Learning mode, probably the most important tool you have is learning mode. Education, glossary, beginner breakdowns. Agent mode, don't confuse that with agents, like we've shown you how to deploy agents. This is for real estate agents. Tax lien mode, Curtis, I know, Neil, this will have some good information for you on tax liens. Deed, auction prep, surplus awareness. Rehab mode, scope of work, trade sequencing, budget draw, QC, OSHA. There's a lot of good stuff in there for that. Comms mode, scripts, messages, outreach. A lot of people are introverted, or a lot of people just don't know. Maybe a situation requires more empathy. It's a probate case. Why not go in and ask it to, how would Chris Voss talk to these people or write a letter? The FBI negotiator. Or how would Peyton Manning talk to these people about this deal? I basically put like 100 people in there throughout history, sports, entertainment, business, real estate, everything in there, all kinds of different people, some generals, things like that. How would they handle it? Like Chris Voss, as an FBI negotiator, he's got to talk to people like he's trying to be their friend, even though that person's going to prison right after, right after he walks out and surrenders and gives up the hostages. He learned from Gary Nesner, who was obviously the FBI guy at Waco, who got recalled to Washington before that fire. So he wasn't there when that happened. But you guys can pull up all these people in history, generals and admirals and people like that, all kinds of different people, real estate, finance. We got Eric Trump in there. We got Steve Whitecoff. Got Grant Cardone. A lot of people ups and downs on all 3 of those guys. But you know what? They're all successful in real estate. So it'll teach you how to communicate like them. Comms mode. how to write letters, how to write offers, how to talk to people, how to text people, different things like that. Switch to rehab mode. We're in default mode. So now, if you're done, you just put return to default. So remember, if you're going to switch, put switch to whatever mode, switch to agent, switch to learning, switch to wholesaling. When you're done, we're in return to default. We're actually in default. So you're back on RCI's default. So you guys can go and you can send the workflow, deal, business system, or decision you want. Anything you guys want to learn. I mean, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you want to learn how to buy a golf course. Don't have to worry about contacting me. Just have it teach you how to do a golf course. It'll walk you through that process. Okay, now a couple of things we're going to show. Agents. This is a new feature. I have not really spent any time at all looking at it. It's a new thing from OpenAI. Let me make sure you guys can. Let me stop sharing. I'll return to that. I just try to do this to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm actually on. Sometimes I get ahead of myself. These are templates. These are all designed by OpenAI. So you got data analysts, you got a chief of staff. You can imagine what that is, being like, if you're a big corporation, you probably have chief of staff, things like that, recruiting people, SQL, crafter. You got all these different agents. You can deploy these agents. These are all OpenAI. I'm putting some together in my workspace. But you guys can create an agent or you can browse the directory. That's a new feature. You might want to play with that. Apps. So you guys go to apps. These are a lot of them here's Airtable. I kind of do recommend Airtable. Most people will need the free. If you guys are doing what I do, what I'm doing right now to build all this stuff on RCIC and all that systems, you'll use GitHub. But you guys look at obviously there's feature, there's lifestyle, there's productivity, there's GitHub, there's Gmail. Look at productivity because that's where you're going to find most of the stuff you're going to want to use. You got all the Google Calendar, you got Gmail, SharePoint. You get down here, you got Adobe's, all the Adobe stuff. You got you get into bank, we got all kinds of stuff, Bankrate. You get into Common Room, which is kind of cool. I started looking at some of these ones that I hadn't heard before, which is kind of cool. You get Dropbox. I recommend Dropbox, the free version of Airtable, and it's setting up a free Gmail. So you can actually route all your distress intelligence, all your reports to that email. And you kind of can organize it. If you have Go High Level, like the free Gmail option is like you can kind of do it as like a Go High Level. Obviously GoDaddy if you want to build a website. I actually recommend Netlify and Namecheap if you want to build a website, but GoDaddy, Network Solutions are all in here. HubSpot, Intuit, all the Intuits, QuickBooks, they got MailChimp, TurboTax, Khan Academy if you got children, they do K-12 math, a lot of good math training. Linktree, if you guys want to set up, I need to set up a Linktree anyway. I got so much stuff. Manus, Moody's. You guys like anything? What Moody's
I've used that Lovable one before. It's kind of cool. It's like creates a website for you. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, isn't that fun? Because
Yeah.
I go through GitHub, everything I'm building in Claude, I have to load them in GitHub, and then it basically organizes it. Then it pushes to Netlify, and then you guys see it.
Okay.
It's kind of just to tell you guys what's going on there. So I can PayPal. I'm pulling out some of the major ones. You guys getting it? It's got Uber Eats and Uber. I'm like, I don't know why people need to hook up Uber Eats to their AI, but it's available. Wix. Yeah, you guys there's some pretty cool stuff. Spotify. Also, if you guys go to deep research, be prepared to be there for a while. It won't let you do anything else. Codex, I haven't really started using Codex. I probably will soon. So that's just I'm trying to give you guys some navigation of just different things that are out there. Keep in mind, there's legals in if you need any kind of legal help. Keep in mind anything that you guys are setting up, you need to set up ahead of time and have your login and your password because you're gonna it'll ask you for that, and then it only takes like a minute for it to connect, and it walks you through that process. So kind of really quick, let me stop share, and I'm going to reshare, and I'm going to show you guys. Let me get over here and see if I've got it set up. I should have it set up. If not, I will. Give me 1 second. I got a few go around. I'm trying to get to that. Sometimes getting to where I need to go is a little tricky.
You have a few questions in the chat. I didn't know if you're going to do that afterwards or.
Yeah, we'll do it at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to ask. I mean, sometimes I don't see those because I'm trying to get.
Yeah, that's what I figured. You were busy with your Windows, so I've been trying to answer some, but I didn't know some of it. So trying to help you out.
Well, usually having to keep track of all that anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, let me, and I did actually load this up. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in the right place. I don't want Claude right now. Because I set these up already. And I may have, let me try to do it a different way. So I'll go ahead and kind of set this up. Hopefully I should have the dashboard. Switch this tab. Okay. There you guys go. Let me share, reshare, and let you know where I have it. So you guys are going to see it now. Keep in mind, what I'm trying to get everybody now, get your access key if you've got it. This cool if it's working. If they've got any hang-ups, let me know. Or Kevin know. We'll fix it. So what I'm trying to do right now is I can only do a couple a day. I've got I'll be done by Sunday. I'm going through and putting some of the tools and the back end, meaning how these talk, to each other, how they pass things off. Some of you guys may have gone in there and it says connection error. We do have the API guide. So, like I said, your OpenAI subscription is $20 a month. Claude would be $20 a month. You won't need Claude if you just use the tools that are here on the highway because they're offline. But if you want to use AHJ and you want to do Capital Passport and skip tracing using it, then you need API. I put $20 in there. Don't hit auto renew until you know what's going on. I'm going to try to get some feedback when people start using it. It will charge you for tokens. And you buy, how many tokens, $5 or $10 or 20. There's a thing with Anthropic has a key. It's a long key, believe me, it's like 50 something characters. So you want to copy and paste it and store it somewhere where you can just hit it quickly to enter it. That's only, and you guys will see that it'll come up in some of these tools. So all these tools, like you guys see, these are here. You guys can see all the different ones. The ones that, let me pull up the tool store. Actually, so if I go to like deal analysis, right? Now I got the tool store. You guys see up here, kind of and I know so we do have a white, you have a light. You can go to dark here over here in this corner, or you can go back to dark. So either way you like it, light, you like it dark. Either way. And so I got the tools here, right? These are all the tools. The reason that these AHJ and all that over here, because they all require API. So if you go in here, you're not using the API, you could just hit tools. So you guys can go in, here's a wholesale calculator. Pretty sweet. You guys get a storage. It's pretty cool because storage also gives you not only the unit mix, it gives you income, expenses, valuation. It also will give you furnishings. It's pretty cool that way. Residential assisted living, how we're different, and you can promote this. So if you guys ever, because if you ever, maybe you're not doing assisted living, but if you see somebody out there doing it, you can refer them and you can tell them how deep we go. I made sure we go deeper than anybody. So it has the real estate for real assisted living. Then we have a care plan. So this is going to talk about all the different things like standard assisted living, independent. What do they have? Are they memory care? Highest acuity? Is that Alzheimer's, dementia? Things like that. So it walks you through this and it'll teach you this. And, here's an owner operator, hired administrator, not yet determined. It gets into over here to like your effective range, your bed days a month, required staff for FTE, full-time employees versus part-time caregivers. Here's your caregiver, your daytime, your nighttime, because they probably got nighttime overrides. What the charge nurse or LPNs, administrators, cooks, and house. So it does everything for that, for a care plan. It gives all the expenses for the care plan. Then we get into billing and payer mix. So over here, private pay. You got Medicaid, Part A, Part B, Medicaid, VA, TRICARE, private insurance. And you guys get in the revenue calculator and it gets all down, it goes all the way through it. Standard, for Alzheimer's, standard for memory care, private suite premium pricing. You can change all this. We can change it all. And then it'll come down at the end, it'll calculate the billing. So it puts all these pieces together, right? Because at the end, it's going to score it, it's going to rank it, it's going to run all 3 modules, it's going to have all your figures, and it's going to come out this other side with a general full analysis. of a residential assisted living deal. So you guys can look at it on your own time if you need to change it to white or whatever. Storage is the same way. We've obviously got this is Stack Intelligence for those of you that like see those Morby deals where you're throwing DSCRs and seller carry and different things together. This will actually help save. This is great. This is like for Kenny. So everybody's friend of Kenny Jenner, Kenny. Yeah, Kenny likes this a lot. He loves this tool so far. He's like, dude, I can't wait to start using it. Multifamily. It's pretty cool. Then it gets into the rehab and scope of work. Guess what? Property intake. You can build all your property. You can build it as this move-in ready, cosmetic, moderate, everything right through there. Then you guys can go through your estimator. It'll help line item estimator. I'm getting some more resources to give you pricing. A lot of you can go to HomeWise, which is it's home, and then Wise is WYSE.com, and you can start, it's manual, it's a little slow, but if you guys go out there and you go through it and you learn it and you start importing it into it, it's going to train it. I'm working on some other things for you. AI generated scope, it'll help you with the scope, it'll help you write it out. It'll complete a property intake and click generate AI scope, it'll build your scope right there. It'll set up a draw schedule. And you can ask it, if you need help with doing more draws, let me know, because it can expand. You can go out to 8 right now. And then it'll underwrite your rehab and scope of work, and all that stuff. And then you guys get into, here's your capital passport. Guess what? This is it has all the lenders, 936 capital sources, family offices, hedge funds, multifamily office, single family office. There's 437 active lenders every month. I have the AI going on, just verifying the websites are responding. There's no 404s and 403s. That's really the best thing I can do. I do have those manually, but there are 437 active lenders, hard money, bridge, construction, specialty. And then you guys can get out transaction coordination mode. Goes through everything, wholesale, double close, fix and flip through the TC process. So that really is, like I said, right now, the thing is this should be a fully operational for all the tools, and I'm putting additional tools in there. You guys can see that you guys can see where it's all lit up now, where it says launch. So these are now going in next 2 days. These 3 will be done tomorrow. These 3 on Friday. All the tools will be built. There's skip trace and scope of work. I'm obviously separating those two. And I've separated glamping and STR analyzer. I've just got those two. I just got to put them into the GitHub and then push to Netlify. So all 6 of these will be added plus 2 more. So these will actually be like another row of 3 by the weekend. They'll be fully functional. And then we'll obviously then go into your AHJ. And obviously, because you're doing any kind of searching or anything online, that's why you have to have the API. Like I said, there is an API guide we have, and I did post it in both Facebook groups. So it's kind of right there, the RCIC systems. If you guys, I think everybody here should have your access key. If you do ever lose it, I think it is, once you put it in, it is tied to that email. So unfortunately, but if you guys set up that free Gmail like I'm talking about, let me know, and I can generate another one for you. I think I can find a way I'll have to search. And I think we can generate another one if you ever lose it or don't remember it, but try to keep that in a safe place too. The 16 digits. Cool. I'm going to stop share on that. And I'm going to return to the GPT. And so now we're back on the GPT. Okay, I'm going to start winding down. Let me go to the questions real quick. I got chats. Okay. Let me see what I got. Cool, James. I know I saw you come in. Is it possible to surface land leads? Yes, Chris, we can actually, I can help you set that up on a one-on-one and get you guys. I can do that for everybody for land. We are adding, land is one of the tools that's being added to RCIC Systems as well. So it's just trying to, and then with land, you guys can build this on once you guys got this, you can build whatever you want on into the system. So you come over here and build a project for land, I can help you. I can give you the resources that I already have for it. And then you can build onto it. And you guys can pull that. Yeah, you guys can do tax liens. Like I said, there's a tax lien. Go to tax lien mode and learning in modes. It'll teach you all about how to do it, and it's ready to go. You can put it in there. A lot of stuff, if it's not in there, you guys can build it on the fly. You can ask it for tools. You can ask it to create things. You're doing this, it'll tell you. Learning mode has tax liens and all that, like I said. It can do, you can pull, so Chris, to answer your question, if you're still on, you can pull leads from anywhere. You basically tell it in your market. So we talked about that probably before you came in tonight. I've built a few things called market guides. You can see some of them in the files tabs in Facebook groups, the two groups. You can pull any of those up and you can actually input it into the prompt bar here, and you can ask it to duplicate it for the markets you want. So let's say you pull Cuyahoga County, but you're not doing anything in Cleveland. Just ask it to do Alameda, California, County, California, or whatever markets you want. You can have as many markets as you want. What I'm saying on markets is don't do searches in like Texas and Florida, or two states, maybe one state's list pendants with judicial foreclosure, another state's non-judicial. Don't do any searches that have those two states together. Not saying specifically Texas and Florida, but you can build a market guide. You can take the market guides I built. If you really need me to build one, I'll build one for you. I generally tell you to build one, give me one county, usually no more than 2 or 3. If there's some zip codes, I'd build that for you. That is your market guide. It's pretty thorough. It's in PDF. You can enter it through your prompt bar. Pretty simple. You can do as many markets as you want. The reason you guys see me talk about 6,513 and 50 markets was last summer, before I even knew I was going to build the websites. And I got a list of the top 50 markets from Adam, ATTOM. You guys can read. That's where I get all my numbers for foreclosures. And I put them in there, and I said, well, how many zip codes? And it came up with 6,513 zip codes. And I said, eventually I could try to do 100 markets and get up to 250. Well, don't have to do it anymore, because with RCIC, you guys can add your own markets. You can do any market you want in the United States, anywhere. Continental United States, Hawaii, Alaska, territories. So it's pretty thorough. You guys can do what you want. It's pretty cool that way. Everything is flexible on you. You guys don't need at 2:00 in the morning. If you need to learn something, hit up RCIC Core and go to learning mode. Go to modes and ask for learning mode. It'll teach you that.
Hey, Nick, can I just ask one follow-up question?
Yeah.
Is it possible to I'm custom coding a CRM for our business. Is it possible to connect to your ecosystem via API and to trigger leads that are qualified from your system into our CRM?
You should be able to. What I would do is tell what's the API, because obviously I just showed you guys the apps and stuff like Netlify and all that. They have API already. We have managed to find a way to connect HomeWise. It was a process. I do have a PDF in the groups on that. But as far as specifically, if you're building it, we'll work together on it and see if we can do it, because I think you should be able to do it. But if not, like I said, another way to, we'll figure it out. I just can't say if you're building it on your own, because I don't know what your systems are. What if you're doing anything with the GPT, you should be able to. But if you're not, then like I said, I'll just kind of hold off on the final answer. But I believe you should be able to, and I think we can find a solution. Just let me know how you built it and what you did, and I can kind of research that before we do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using Codex.
Yeah, no, if you're using Codex, you should be able to do it. I just don't, and we'll ask it. I mean, we'll do it one-on-one, and
okay.
we can do it together. I mean, that's what I'd like to do, because then I can, if people are doing something specific, like different, because you can build onto it your own way. You can totally do, and then you can generate. I mean, now you got RCIC Systems and Core. You got the best of 2 worlds, and
yeah.
This tool I built today is like it's like another skip tracing. It'll be a standalone. It'll have a subscription. Obviously, you guys will get a link, a key for that, for anything I build. But yeah, people have now multiple different ways to skip trace. And the new one I built, you can skip trace with GIS data and all that. You can go to the counties and actually pull up the parcel and actually get the history of it. And you can find it. I made sure that there's no way, because I'm frustrated. Anybody see me commenting on any kind of other Facebook groups? It's frustrating to see a lot of these people coming out of nowhere. You look at their Facebook and they just set up their Facebook like 3 weeks ago in there, because of what these AI gurus are telling people. Here's 100 different ways to monetize AI and make money. And 5 of them, I said when I first saw it, I go, crap, I'm going to be seeing 100 people right when I'm trying to build, because you guys have been around, almost everybody here's known me for a while. So you guys know that I have a lot of resources. I was trying to figure out last summer how to build a website where I could get all those resources. There was no way to do it. And I was using the AI to organize it and like prioritize it. And how can I build? It came to the conclusion of 3 websites. Well, all of a sudden I'm in the AI going, crap, let's just use the AI. It's because it's unlimited at that point. And it's getting better and better. The little glitches and stuff I was talking about in September, October, November, pretty much into the first part of this year, they're not there anymore. A lot of the stuff is getting. I had frustrations because I want to have clean products. So, sometimes I make a visual and I wouldn't pick up on a typo. It'd be in the visual. You guys see I post those that has like here's the zoom, here's the the date, here's the and sometimes there'd be a typo. Well, they don't have those anymore. They're getting better and better. OpenAI and Anthropic are getting better and better. You guys also know like Anthropic is now paying SpaceX like $5 billion a year to access all their what SpaceX has, which is weird because obviously Elon's also got Grok. So it's kind of interesting. These 2 big companies, OpenAI and Anthropic, they're both going to be $1 trillion companies by the end of the year. There's some issues with both companies, but they're both going to get there. So yeah, but anything anybody wants to do anytime, let me know. And like I said, we can do a half hour, 45-minute hour. It's just on one-on-ones, I try to like have you share a screen, show me what you got, so I can kind of see if I can tweak it. And then, like I said, anytime we got a tweak, just send me. Usually the best time is 8 o'clock to noon my time in Denver time in the morning because I'm live on my laptop, and I can usually get it fixed for you in a couple of minutes. I just generate a PDF. I don't have my camera with me in the mornings, so just kind of know I can't really do a Zoom. I work mobily in the morning. I got a friend who has a sports bar, and they open at 8, and I go there and get coffee and work because I got restaurant quality, sports bar quality Wi-Fi. Like the only time I've ever had lost Wi-Fi there is when the power company was doing something outside. So I like doing that. But in the afternoon, I can do one-on-ones and evenings. I do try to take, and you guys all, most of you have been around a while. I do try to take Tuesday night and Friday night off. But if you got something, right up at Tuesday night, just text me, message me, and say, "Hey, I got a question." Like if I don't need my laptop, I won't have my laptop usually when I'm out. But if I can do it with my phone or give you some advice, I will. Then I'll jump on my laptop when I get on. Those are about the only 2 times I don't really have my laptop. It's just I try to go out and, obviously when football season starts, my Sundays will be. You guys just can follow my schedule. Just get the Broncos schedule, and it'll be fine.
Well, that's not
Hey,
hard
Nate,
to do. It's the first game of the season on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. So
I
you guys
wonder how I know that, Nate.
you'll hear me and Kevin going at it during the season.
I wonder how I know about that, Nate.
So yeah, I mean, like I said,
Tomorrow afternoon, you'll find out why I know about that. We're playing you guys at home opener or the season opener on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I saw that. So
Yep.
did you guys go to RCIC, go to mode? I'm probably going to change start here. I've been talking about it to something else. When you guys go to the GPTs, that's another thing too, Chris, and anybody, we can do a GPT. We can actually build I can help you build your own. It's pretty cool. We just do this and there you go. Here's my GPTs. And it's kind of cool. They give you the list, right? I just built Trash or Cash, which is kind of a free one I'm doing just to throw out, it's basically is your deal Trash or Cash. I did a couple of them in the GPT store just to kind of promote RCIC and,
It's always the best one to start with. Why waste your time doing anything else if it wasn't worth the time putting in there?
So here's core. So you guys see, here's the same 4 you guys see. So I'm probably going to change this. So these are what they call conversation starters. You guys see it right there. And you can do 10 or 12 of them, but it only puts the top 4 in. So when you set up your GPT, the top 4 are going to be the ones that are here. Knowledge, you guys see these knowledge is like a doc, PDFs, docx, Excels. This is where I'm powering up all the intelligence. You get 20 spaces. I recommend GPT 5.5. You guys also want to go and check, make sure you got 5.5. Everybody should have it. They update that. When they update 5, go from 5.4 to 5.5, you usually wake up to it. You don't have to, but go and make sure you're running it because that is the latest model. I generally like thinking, but they also give you Pro and Instant. So you guys can go do that. You get 8,500 less characters. This is where you tell it all the, this is where I tell it all the rules and the compliance and all that stuff. So you guys can go do this, and I always like when I'm done, I update it. Make sure even if I haven't done anything, I just go hit update just to make sure that I'm current. Anyone with a link, that means I have to give you a link. I could some of those you can put in GPT store, meaning that you put it in their store. You guys also know where you got engage. The next ones you want, once you guys get familiar, and you guys can add them now. But I said the next, when you're ready, we got engage is another GPT, rehab scope engine, and capital passport are probably the next three you need. We got campaign operator and exchange. Those are really for high end things. We're gonna look at taking exchange and operator, and that's kind of what James, what we're gonna with you, me, and Kevin, and all the stuff we're talking about. Maybe we can.
How far are we away from getting capital passport up to date and active?
It's all. I mean, the GPTs are all loaded. Another reason
Okay, so that's ready to go now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just depends on which. I mean, if we got to modify it, there's capital passport.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If everything's up to date, then that's good. That's basically what I was looking at, because some people are already ready to rock with that now.
Because you guys can go to the modes too, and you guys can go to switch to lending.
Here.
Lender mode.
See, I'm going to do switching to resident. Okay.
Conceptual underwriting review, ARV and rehab assumption risk, DSCR, borrower strength factors, exit strategy, capital stack, all that. That's in the mode. And then just to get back, I just put return to default.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know whether or not a certain party can actually read that capital stack and know what he's talking about. It was Phil. That was his library, capital stack.
Oh, yeah. Not talking about Phil.
Oh boy, I got to do that every once in a while, Dale. I mean,
right.
Nate.
So okay, I am processing Zoom. I like doing this, even though sometimes it's not as for you guys, but I like to show you guys what you can do for your marketing for YouTube. And it knows YouTube by YT, by the way. It actually knows agents gathered by AG. Because I do enough stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. That's going to make for some very interesting interactions when people on Agents Gather start seeing this thing. Yeah. Because we're talking about internationally, there's some people that are in that thing. So can you imagine this thing going overseas and some of the deals like in Singapore, the $1 billion Singapore people doing the $1 billion real estate there? If they ever got a hands on something like this, what that would be like. I mean, that'd be nuts.
Yeah. See, this one might have, yeah, a little bit full. That's why it's a little slow. Guys, do remember also sometimes it does fill where you got to start another. Yeah. So
this is why it takes a week to 10 days, because you got to wait for the thing to figure out which way's up. And then once it does this a few times, it gets real slick at it and it gets lubricated and it starts stretching its fingers and, it starts moving a lot better. But it takes 30 to 45 days for that to happen.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you won't have a couple, 2 or 3 deals pop in your, in your lap during that time, which might be more than enough to get your attention, because they're going to end up being the best of the best and the biggest of the biggest if that's what you tell it to do. My recommendation would be to do just that.
Again,
this thing does all this stuff.
Description. Here's another option. It gives me a couple of them. Can you generate a thumbnail? Under 1.9. So YouTube is required to be under 2.0. I just want to make sure I ask for 1.9 to make sure for YouTube. You use the one I uploaded as reference. So I'm going to try, because these actually turned out really good, the ones I did last week. Let me go and try to find it. You guys see this one, my new one of myself? That's a prompt you can get. So I did an analysis on a daisy chain detector, which is a tool we have. I'm trying to find out where there you
go. Okay, developer mode.
Yeah, and guys, also remember sometimes I'm in developer mode, so it does treat it a little bit different. You guys don't have that, but I don't have. I have more memory. Jesse can work in the space, things like that. So it's a little different, but it's not. You guys, it doesn't affect you really that much. Just what I'm seeing because I've been playing with a laptop. The second,
Yeah, a lot of people, that's what's going to happen. They're going to be using a laptop more than anything else because they want to be portable.
well, I'm not saying it's a laptop. Maybe it'll work the same way. There you guys go. It just generated my thumbnail.
I'm going to have more information tomorrow on those, by the way.
All right.
For those that know what I'm talking about there, Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead and yeah, you guys if you guys need one-on-ones, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the recording off.